You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of Inside Automotive right here on the CBT Automotive Network. AIADA has been leading the charge in advocating for the interests and addressing the challenges of international nameplate auto dealers in the U.S. Today we're joined by Cody Lusk, the president and CEO of the AIADA, and Anthony Brownlee, who is the new chairman of the AIADA, to share insights into the current state of affairs and the initiatives underway at the association. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining me on the show today. I very much appreciate you taking the time with us. So Cody, let me start with you. As we navigate through this election year, what are the foremost concerns currently that your members have?
Well, I think first and foremost, we've been fighting this issue of the EV transition and the mandates that were put forth by the Biden administration, and the EPA came out with its proposal, which was a little bit watered down, but still, I think not great according to us. I don't think, and Anthony had a great column on this about ultimately what has to work for anything. You can't mandate any technology or any drivetrain. The consumer is the key. And is the driver, and we're going to get there. It's just going to be a transition. It's going to be, high. We're seeing it in the marketplace today with hybrids, the popularity, plug-in hybrids, and that kind of thing. And so I think that we're seeing that. We may have a vote later on this week in the Senate that would stymie that effort by the Biden administration. We'll see. That's got to get 60 votes. So that's something that could come out. Something like that already passed the House. But, I think we're just transitioning, and the election year is going to be, a three-ring circus, to put it mildly.
Yeah. Anthony, you've got where you're located in Wyoming with your store. Mm-hmm. That's an area that they're probably saying, hey, we don't necessarily need EVs anytime soon out here, right? For a number of different reasons.
Everybody's impressed with the technology, but the challenge is, how do you fit into your lifestyle? How many miles do you drive? Charging station availability. Are you going to install one at home? The technology is exciting, but it's about pace. How do we go from where we are now to where we ultimately want to be? And how can we do that in the most common sense way? My whole goal this year is to depoliticize the whole conversation. Transportation is not a political issue. It's not red or blue. It's an American issue. And with EVs and in our part of the world, in the Rocky Mountain region, we'd love to see the technology progress. It's just not there yet.
When the last time that I saw you two gentlemen, I spent some time with you at the J.D. Power New York Auto Show event, which was a great, I think they call it the Automotive Forum, and many dealers attend that. We talked a little bit about these types of topics we're talking about today, and Jack Hollis was one of the speakers from Toyota. And some people a few years ago said, oh, Toyota is not keeping up with the pace in terms of EVs. They seem to be pumping the brakes and still going for more of a hybrid, maybe a plug-in hybrid and such. Do you think they got it right on this, and the rest of the industry got it wrong?
Absolutely. Jack Hollis, Bob Carter beforehand, and Akio always, they were ahead of the curve. It was about consumer choice, number one, but then two, it's about electrified vehicles, not just EVs. And Toyota has led the way in that, conversation, and others are coming on board quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And Anthony, what are people in your neck of the woods? Are they coming in, at least? Are they asking about EVs? I saw a report that said 33 million searches were done by car shoppers last month on EVs. So it seems as though the interest is there, but the buyers aren't there lining up for EVs yet. Are people coming into your showroom saying, "Show me an EV"?
There's curiosity for sure. When you're hearing about mandates, when you're seeing some states put dates out there when they're saying you can no longer buy ICE engine vehicles, people are trying to understand, okay, what's coming? And so you're seeing a lot of web searches, our salespeople are fielding calls, things of that nature. What's not there quite yet is the actual buying decision in terms of being ready to switch to an EV today. Hybrids are doing great. ICE engines are doing great. EVs, we're still trying to find our way. When you look at most inventories on dealerships lot these days, the ones with the highest day supply are usually your EVs.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. So as the chairman, what are some of your other priorities? I know you're dealing with affordability and EVs, obviously, but what are some of the other things on your to-do list as chairman?
We've kind of simplified it this year. We also want to be nimble in how we navigate an election year. There's going to be issues that we don't foresee today that are probably going to be in front of us over the summer. And so, blessed beyond measure, the staff here at AIADA is second to none. And I'm supported from top to bottom from Cody and the entire staff. And we're just going to have fun advocating for an industry I'm just going to speak personally, that's been so good to me that I believe we all owe it to the industry and to people, coming into our industry now and for the future to advocate for it and make sure it's healthier going forward than it is today.
Yeah, for sure. Cody, can you give us an update on some of the other headwinds like tariffs and some of the initiatives that you all are working on currently?
Yeah, Jim, there's no shortage of bad ideas coming out of Washington campaigns. So obviously that keeps us on high alert most of the time. We've been focused on EVs when really the big issue facing the industry for some time, and as we look into the future, is affordability. How can we ensure that people can get into the marketplace? How can they afford vehicles? How can they insure the vehicles? And so that's always, keeping the economy, doing the right thing and going in the right direction. I mean, I think what worries me is there seems to be a bipartisan sort of rhetoric about that, trade has been harmful to the U.S. economy, that global markets are bad, that, free market principles and capitalism is a thing of a bygone era. And I don't think, that's the case at all. And I think our industry is one that proves that the market works. That's what we're arguing about when it comes to EVs. Let the market dictate what people want. They will get to where they want to go eventually. We will eventually have a transition to EVs, but that's going to be some time. We can't build up borders from the standpoint of tariffs. You take the Chinese is a whole different element. We have somebody different, introducing legislation to increase tariffs on Chinese vehicles or imports from China, on a weekly basis. And, there are no Chinese companies importing any vehicles into the U.S. yet, but that's something that's out there that we're all keeping our eye on. And that's the one thing that Washington is unified on. They're very concerned about Chinese vehicles and what role they may play in the U.S. marketplace.
Yes, and you've got one candidate in Trump that is saying, "Hey, you want to bring those vehicles into the U.S. We're going to drop a huge tariff on those vehicles, right? Even if they're built in Mexico."
Well, we don't. We have Trump is saying that. We have Senate Democrats, Senate Republicans, House Democrat, House Republicans. They're all on differing bills that would, kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just each one kind of increase the import tariff by whatever percent. So that's something that's a geopolitical equation that's going to need to get solved if there's ever going to be any Chinese vehicles for sale in the U.S.
That's right. That's right. Or American vehicles for sale in China. Right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Because that goes two ways. It's interesting. When I speak to the analysts at Bloomberg Intelligence and Cox Automotive and Edmunds and some others in the industry, they tell me that there's not much of a difference when you look at a presidential election year from other years, and that in terms of having an impact in the business. Have you found that to be the case? Would you agree with that statement or disagree?
There's so much emotion tied into our politics, and there has been for the last 6 or 7 or 2 or 3 cycles. It's a little hard to judge in real time. I can just tell you on the ground, we're getting more inventory. And as I share with you in New York, I'm an optimist by nature. And so I'm really looking forward to the retail side of 2024. But politically, it does feel a little different, and there is some uncertainty in terms of how the election is going to play out in November. But overall, just really excited about 2024.
So, having said that, we didn't say a few different elements here, a few a few things that dealers have been concerned about, and that's gas prices, inflation, and interest rates. And those still seem to play a role, not just with dealers, but also consumers. Is this the right time to buy? What's the rate going to be? Am I going to have my job tomorrow? What's the economy look like? And so, Cody, I'll start with you. What kind of an impact will that have on the balance of the year?
Yeah, I think you're starting to see some of that. Normally people might be excited about, the tax season and tax returns coming in and people going to be, putting that forward to new vehicles. And we're hopeful that that will be the case. I think if you go back to what we were talking about in New York is 2019's here again. And, the real auto market has returned, and there's pluses and minuses with that, and there's challenges, but it's still a great place. It's still a great market. 24 is going to be a great year. We just can't compare it to the last few years. We all know that's unreasonable. So everyone I talked to said, hey, we're pulling out our records. We're looking at our sheets from 2019, and that's what we're going off of. And but you look at the product that's coming out, the product at every level. There really is an entry level product. It is highly sophisticated, unbelievable stuff that's coming out from all the manufacturers, and it's an exciting time. If you want to buy a vehicle, it's still a great time.
That's right. And I'll give the new chairman the last word here today. What's your take on the balance of the year with all of these things out there?
Buckle up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Make sure it's in an import car, though, if you buckle up.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It's going to be all about the guest experience. Just keying in on what Cody was talking about, the technology in the vehicles today, just versus 3 or 4 years ago, it's just incredible. And even with the challenges of higher interest rates and, prospect of increased tariffs and things of that nature and inflation, it's still a compelling time to upgrade. It's a compelling time to buy a car. 2024 may not be the same type of profit per vehicle over the last few years during the pandemic. But if we pay attention to the right things, take care of our guests, and really, educate our guests on what's currently available, 2024 is going to be an incredible year.
Sure. Anthony, one last question. You're talking to a lot of your members right now, in fact. So what do you want to see from them, or what do you need from them in order to really move the association ahead?
Continued engagement. So I would challenge every import dealer in the country right now to talk to their local representatives, talk to anyone and everyone that can influence policy. Our voice needs to be heard. We need to talk as one group, pushing the auto industry in the right direction through an election year. And we can continue to, really pay attention to what's going on, stay involved. And I couldn't be more excited to talk to any dealer that would like to engage with me or engage with Cody and AIADA. We really need your help.
That's great. That's great. Cody Lusk, President and CEO of the AIADA, and Anthony Brownlee, the new chairman of the AIADA. Thank you so much for joining me here on Inside Automotive. And thank all of you for watching. And don't forget, you can also access all of CBT's content now on Roku and Apple TV right from your own home. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys joining me.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Jim.
you.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.